Producer. Είναι μουσικός, δεν ξέρω πόσα ακόμα ταλέντα θα βγάλει στην πορεία, γιατί έχει και πολλά χρόνια ακόμα μπροστά του και αυτό είναι πάρα πολύ ωραίο. Οπότε είναι χαρά μας να τον έχουμε εδώ. Τα υπόλοιπα θα τα κουβεντιάσουμε στα αγγλικά για να μην τον ταλαιπωρούμε κιόλας, γιατί δεν ξέρουμε πόσο καλά έτσι μπορεί να τα ακούσει. Λοιπόν, you're so welcome here. Actually, it's been 7 years since the last time you were here.
Yes.
It was at Terra Vibe, I think.
Was it like Rockwave Festival or
Yeah,
something in the woods? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was a difficult time because it was right after the crisis here or something, and it was. I remember the concert being a bit tense, but I really liked it, and I'm very happy I'm back here now, and we can play in Athens.
So there's a longing to see the Greek audience again,
Yeah,
interact with it.
Yes.
How does it feel being able again to be on stage, to go on tour after this whole pandemic situation?
It's a very strange feeling because it's at the same time it is very moving and it's very exciting because it was very frustrating for us and for the audience. So we meet after that frustration, so we're all very excited. But at the same time, it's like it was yesterday that I was on stage before. It feels like nothing happened because all the feelings are back and people dancing and people singing. It's just like, it feels like yesterday, really. So it's a mix of these two things, which is very strange.
I would like to ask you, you're a very restless person.
Okay.
So it must have been very difficult for you to stay at home. It was Paris, I think. Yeah?
Yeah.
But still?
I like traveling, but not really as a singer or for work in general. As a person, I love traveling. It's something.
So
I
you
really
were
love
traveling all this.
I know I couldn't. So that was frustrating. But at the same time, I have to say I worked so much and all the time that it was actually good to have some time off. I stayed home. I cooked. I took care of my little dog.
What's his name?
His name is Omega.
Omega. It's a Greek name.
It's a Greek name. And yeah, it's been good to have a little bit of time to think about myself and think about the world and what I would do next. If I had known it would last so long, I would have probably made something else out of that time. I would have probably built something or wrote something, but it was also good to not know and just like let yourself go into like procrastination and hanging out. Yeah.
And let time flow.
Yeah.
What did you miss most during this past year?
Touring, definitely.
Touring,
Yeah.
definitely.
We were supposed to start the tour in May last year, 2020, and we had to postpone everything twice, 6 months and 6 months again. And that was probably the frustrating part because I did release the record in October last year, and really, I think my music is made to be experienced live. That's where I'm the most happy and the most expressive creatively. So it felt very strange to release a record but not being able to defend it on stage.
And share it with the audience.
Yeah, and really present the music to people and say, okay, here's how it lives live. Here's the visuals that could come with it. Here is the world around this song. I could do it a little bit with music videos, but that was definitely not enough. I needed to be on stage.
I think that Athens is the 7th
concert in a row.
So
yeah.
How were
the first ones? All very
the
different.
First one.
We performed in Spain. We started in Spain, which was amazing. Very exciting. We performed in Montreux for the Montreux Jazz Festival, which is a very special place for me because I've played there so many times. And it was a bit of a special edition this year because they had to make it very small, which was good because I almost rediscovered like being in such a place in a very intimate way. I really liked it. And this show is going to be even more special because it's such an incredible like place and it's such an incredible theater. And
have you ever been in the
Yes,
Acrόπολη?
I have seen a concert from Rufus Wainwright there a couple of years ago, like 4 years ago or something, which was really amazing. And the venue is so beautiful.
So you're looking forward. It's one of your biggest dreams to be there in this place.
Yeah, it's also like the Greek audience has been asking a lot for me to come. Like I notice it on social media. Sometimes I ask, and I see in the comments, and the Greek flag comes many times. So I'm very happy I'm here. And in this place, it's going to be even more special because we've adapted a little bit the creative of the show for the place. So we've added more lights. and we're going to work really with the structure of the Acropolis and the theater for the visuals and everything. So I'm very excited about it.
We are excited too. I'm looking forward to coming tomorrow night. Let's talk about your last album, the 616, S16. Yeah, it's all about contrast and likeness, and it's a bit rough, may I say?
It is. It's an album that talks about the world. I needed, as an artist on this record, I needed to make an album that was a reflection of the world.
Right now.
Yeah, actually, I talked about it in 2019, really. It was when we started to really assemble it together was 1819. So it kind of aligned with the world in a strange way. But really, I started to develop that world in 2018 and 19. And I wanted to make an album that was not... I wanted to see how much I could push the realism in the reality of the world, but make people dance on it and make people cheer it and somehow find hope within it and finding a certain idea of joy, but without compromising the harshness of the world. It was a bit of the challenge of the record, and that's why it's so contrasted. It's a mix of like delusion and hope. It's a mix of light and dark. And it's definitely an album that's very intimate, I think. Intimate, and it really works on stage. So far I've seen, because I think when you deliver something very intimate to the audience, it's much easier to catch them and make them dance afterwards. It's like bands like Depeche Mode or Radiohead. We know so much how to like bring a form of intimacy and then make people move and dance on whatever beat they're making. I think it's the music I like the most, really.
So that's how it's gonna be now. From now on,
I don't know. I could really make a completely naive dance record. I think it could. I think if you're an artist, you want to be somehow political, or at least you want to refer to the world around you, and making the choice to make a completely blind dance record can also be a political choice. Something deciding to like completely shut people off reality and making them dance could be a choice, and I don't know, maybe I could do that. I don't know. I don't know what's next. I have some ideas. I could make a folk record. I could make a French record. I could make,
you haven't still made a French record, huh?
I have never made a French record. I have sung in French. I've done a couple of covers and projects in French, but I've never sung in French. I could totally do that at some point, yeah. That would be nice.
And what about filming some movies? I think it's your next step.
Yeah,
sure.
I tried, but it didn't really work. The writing process is very painful. I think it's probably one of the hardest thing in the world, like writing a movie. Being sure that what you're doing is good. And I have that thing of like, whenever I write something that's impermanent, the principle of screenwriting is that when you write it, it's impermanent. It's going to be something else. It's going to disappear to create a movie. As long as it's not permanent, I think it's as good as it's terrible. And I never managed to make a choice. It's not like song lyrics. When you write song lyrics, that's it. They have to be good and I can have an opinion on it. But when I started to write movies, I realized that I was always on that edge of uncertainty. And maybe I just didn't find the right stories yet or anything. But I realized that I had to go back on stage because I missed my audience. And also, I think I can make a movie when I'm 60. It's going to be harder to be on stage jumping around when I am 60. So for now, I'm like focusing on music, and then afterwards, maybe I'll work on a feature film.
You just everyone that is watching your how you move in this area of so many things that you are doing. Everything looks like it's a rehearsal for your next project. And I think it already exists in your mind.
I always have that thing where this is probably what's been difficult in the time of COVID for me. The way I work is I usually do something, but I always think of what's next. So I never sacralize or I never put too much pressure on what I'm doing because I have another project afterwards. And it kind of like helps me to work things seriously, but not too much, and just always like move on. And during the COVID times, I was like I only had that recording, I only had that tour that was getting cancelled. I had no plans on anything. And that was a bit painful because I was like, oh, what am I going to do next? Am I really going to manage to build something that's big and that's reliable? And now things have come back together, and I have some projects and things are starting to build up again. But yeah, that's how I work. I think it's the way I found to not be too stressed about anything.
You have a thing with identities. You change identities. I think that's very healthy.
Yeah?
We cannot be the same all the time.
No, that's for sure.
We have to evolve as persons. I wanted to ask you, who were you when you started this Woodkid project?
I was probably someone more naive that thought I could just play with music in any way, that it was nothing to respect, and that it was just about having fun and pretending something, which I think was good because it made me do that first record. I think if I had been more tame, or if I had been more, let's say,
Quiet.
Yeah, or respectful of music somehow, or respectful of other musicians about, oh, they've made so many studies, I can't pretend to be this, I can't pretend to work with an orchestra if I haven't done Juilliard school, or if I haven't done like a crazy arrangement school. So if I had been in that state of mind, I wouldn't have done my first record. So I really like the state of mind that I was then. In the meantime, I have learned a lot, and I've mainly learned that I know very little. And that really helps in deconstructing a lot of things and starting from scratch again, on the music side, on the composition side, lyrically also sometimes. And I really like the state I'm in right now, because I start to lose a little bit that imposter syndrome that I used to have. I started my record thinking I knew everything, and then the years after I started to feel like an imposter, which was really something that was a bit hard to digest and understand. And now it starts to go away. Now I start to really be able to understand what I'm doing, and it really feels like it's legit somehow.
That's good. I was going to ask you, if you were sitting over there and you were watching you, what would you say? How would you describe yourself?
I don't
Right
really
now.
like watching myself. I always find myself too serious and too hard and too dark. I wish I were more fun. I can be very fun, but it's most of the time I'm very serious about the things I do, and I find it sometimes difficult. But if I didn't have that seriousness, I wouldn't be able to make the things I'm making. So it's always difficult for me to see myself. Like if everyone goes on my Instagram, and they should follow me and go on my YouTube channel and do the bell thing and whatever. Everything you do. Follow me, give me social
Instagram,
network followers everywhere. TikTok also we started. We have a series of films that my friend was here, Nicolas Béguet, is doing. We call it flip books, and it's kind of like little slices of life of my tour. And it's a bit difficult for me to see myself. I find myself very, very serious. I wish it was more fun. But I'm like that. I can't really contradict myself.
Tell me about this TikTok and this Instagram thing. Do you speak with people? Do they send you messages and you respond?
Sometimes I do, It depends on the times. Sometimes I have so much work I can't do it. I can't spend like every day hours on Instagram or TikTok. It's not possible. But sometimes on some releases or some moments that are important, I do. There's also a platform that is kind of important for us, which is the Discord platform. When we started the project of this record, the whole group of fans created this platform to talk about the project, and we made a lot of like hidden little games within the album. There was a lot of clues and fake websites and things you could go. It was almost like a treasure hunt online. And they made that Discord to talk about it and find clues and trying to dig through the story. And the community grew and became really big. And that platform I took a lot on. I know I'm invested in it, and I talk with the fans on it.
I want to ask you if you pay attention to what people think about you. Or
not
is
really.
It too much noise for you?
No. If I did, I wouldn't have made that record. If I would have done a copycat.
The first one or the second one?
The second one. I would have done a copycat of the first record if I listened to people. No, I don't listen to people. I mean, I listen to a few people that are important for me, that are close to me in my teams. but I mainly follow my instinct and my desire, which is, I think, the most important. And it doesn't mean it's always going to work or it's the right choice. Sometimes people tell you the right thing, but I think it's part of the game to sometimes do the wrong thing. And on that record in particular, if I had listened to my labels or to my teams, I would have never done it this way. And I knew I wanted to do it this way because I knew it would align with the world, and it kind of like, it makes sense now. I think people start to understand the meaning of that record, and it's really obvious on stage, really.
So the mistakes bring you to the right path, huh?
Yeah, always.
Always.
Yeah, always.
And this is nice.
There's no mistakes. There's only learning.
Yeah. Just a moment, because now I have forgotten what I wanted to ask you. Yes, please.
Let me drink a little bit.
No, because... Okay, I will find it. Okay. Let's talk about your tour, because it's a big tour.
It's a big tour, yes.
It's...
I'm already exhausted.
7, it's 52 and... 59 concerts?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
For now that we've announced, but there's way more.
So how much more?
Couple of hundred? Yeah. No, for real. I think we're going to go till 2023. Yeah, now that we started. So yeah, it's going to be at least 2 years.
It's going to be a lot of traveling.
Yeah, a lot of traveling, which is not my favorite part of touring, but...
Not your favorite part?
No, the traveling itself, no. Being somewhere else, yes, I love. But the traveling part, taking the plane all the time, not really.
Are there places that you love?
Oh, so many. I'm excited that we're going to go back to Montreal. I'm excited that we're going to go back to Turkey, which is a place where I have strong connection for some reason, Istanbul. I'm very excited about this show, obviously. Playing on the Acropolis is like such a dream. I'm excited about the Paris shows because it's my home. I'm doing shows also in Lyon, in France, in a theater that's kind of similar to ancient Roman theater, for the Nuit de Fourvière, which is also my hometown, Lyon. It's where I used to live.
You were born near Lyon.
Close to Lyon. Yeah,
Lumière, Fête des Lumières.
Yeah,
there is
Ville des Lumières,
this place, amazing festival there.
Yeah. On the 8th
and
of
I think
December.
It's inspiring, very inspiring for everyone, for every artist. So, I would like to tell me more about those vacations you had 2 years ago, before the pandemic.
Yes.
And it was at Cyclades, and you had a great time. And I think that was regenerating for the time that followed.
It was my last holidays before everything shut down. It was in August 19. And with my friends, we did a whole tour of the Cyclades.
Where did you go?
We went to, I always forget all the names, but Serifos, Sifnos, Milos, Paros, Antiparos, Mykonos, of course. We went to, there was another one that was incredible. I forgot. Serifos I really loved. It was so beautiful when we arrived, and the whole hour was up there. It was so gorgeous. I really liked it, and I love the food so much.
There's going to be not very much time here to visit
no,
an
unfortunately,
island.
I'm first of all, I'm doing promo right now, as you know.
Yeah, I know.
Then I'm going back tonight. We're having a great restaurant tonight, great food. Then tomorrow I have to work on the show, and I have to leave the day after tomorrow because I have to go back to another concert.
It's a pity, but I think that you will definitely find many days to come again and visit us.
Yes.
I like very much one of your songs in this last, besides Goliath, which is amazing. And I would like to ask you, what's the story behind Goliath? And who wins?
It started with like this massive sound that sounded like a Goliath, like sounded something very obscure and strong and powerful. Then I built the song around it, and I built this idea of David and Goliath in an ambiguous way, which could be someone talking about his relationship to fear and what's bigger than him, but you could read it as a love story also, as someone like having to fight someone in front of him that he probably loves but also hates. And it's a song that really defines the record because it's a song that's violent but also very tender sometimes. There's moments where I say, how could you be so blind? How could you be so blind? It's just on very simple piano chords, and right afterwards it's a massive explosion of sound and contrabass clarinet and heavy percussions. So I really wanted that contrast, which was like talking a lot about my inner feelings somehow.
Who wins?
David, of course.
Of course.
Yeah.
And I saw this poster of the tour.
Yeah.
And it's you hugging somehow human being. And it's very, it's like telling him everything will be okay. Like you're talking to an inner self somehow.
Yeah, there's no point doing the music that I do if I don't talk about hope. I think the only thing that's interesting in talking about darkness, inner feelings, is to talk about resolution and talking about light somehow. It would be very cynical if it was just darkness. So yeah, I think this album is actually very hopeful. It ends up on -61, which is an explosion of joy. I made that song the last song for a reason. It's an explosion of joy of kids singing. It was just really something that I wanted to be. Almost like, you know, that time where you have fever at night and you have these weird nightmares and dreams and you don't know if you're awake or not, and then there's that moment when the sun comes up and you really wake up and it feels like the world is new. It was really that idea, -61, yeah.
So, I know that you have been here straight from the airport, and they told us that
I just arrived.
You don't have much time, so you have to check a lot of things about your tomorrow night's concert. I will be there. Everyone will be there.
Yes, come.
You haven't said many things about this. You're just giving us the general image, but I think that
we're bringing a lot of lights. It's a show is a little bit different than the ones we've done in the previous spots because of, for some reasons, COVID restrictions and everything. We have to adapt the show every time. But I'm very happy about what we've done creatively because it's only going to happen in this one. We've reprogrammed the whole show to make it very special. I was very inspired by the stone there. So we're going to really play with the stone, and we're going to make almost something a bit holographic, or about the columns, or rebuilding the place.
Are you going to record this?
I think so, yeah, a little bit.
It might be.
We record every show sonically, but I don't know, yeah, maybe someone's going to film it. I mean, there's going to be probably hundreds of telephones filming it. You know, that's how it is now.
No, I was just thinking about an album. It would be nice.
A live album. Yeah. It's too soon for me to make a live album because I'm too close to the versions of the record. It's only the beginning of my tour, and I think you want to record a live album when you've really reinvented the songs through the live experience. That's what I love about the live, is that it's a reinvention of songs constantly, and every show after show the songs change a little bit. You know, I find a note, I change an interval, I make a note longer because it feels better, and then you're ready to give a recording of a live performance.
This is your full working period.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Thank you very much for everything.
Thank you.
That you shared with us. One wish: be yourself. Because this is a world where everyone is trying to be something else, and it's very tiring.
Yeah, but it's also
nice being yourself.
Being yourself sometimes is
irritating.
Yeah, and it's also not always rewarding in this world, unfortunately. But I'm trying very hard.
But that makes you happy.
Thank you.
Yeah. We thank you.
Thank you very much.
Σας ευχαριστούμε και εσάς που ήσασταν εδώ μαζί μας.
Ooh, that was a deep ending.
Yeah, it was. I'm sorry about my intro.
No, it's perfect.
I need to do some practice more.